Good evening, everyone. Chris Schultz, FridayNightVictors.com. This is our, video wrap-up, playoffs, week one wrap-up, and then we make our picks for week two. I'm joined by Frank and Gary as usual. Gary Hoff, how you doing?
Dog still has worms, and my crops have yet to come in. It's been a bad week. Yeah.
Frank, how are you doing? Mr. Vajner, good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see both you guys too. It's been kind of busy for me. I've been occupied with work and trying to get those previews done, but I'm going to get to work on the previews once I'm done here.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad you said that because I completely forgot about our previews. Today is Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
So video will be up shortly tonight, and then we'll have videos of write-ups for each of the games starting tomorrow. We will have some on Wednesday, and we will have some on Thursdays, including our picks of each of the games. I would tell you how I'm doing, but if I told you guys what was going on in my life, people would be like, are you kidding me? So we'll just leave it at that. Gary, I think you know. Actually, I think you guys might both know. So,
yeah.
All right, so let's start with this. Player of the Week votes just finished about 10 minutes ago. And Devin Albane from Summerfield is our FMV Player of the Week. He garnered 39% of the vote. He just beat out, how do you say Mr. Pizzo's name from Grosville, Gary?
Giuseppe.
Oh, okay.
Well, it depends on who's saying it.
Okay.
Grodi is Gillespie.
Gillespie Pizzo.
I just referred to him as Joe.
Yeah, me too. And he had 36% of the vote. So Devin Albane, he threw for 255 yards and 4 touchdowns and had 58 rushing yards and a touchdown as well. It was a great performance. Everybody had great performances, but congratulations to Devin Albane from Summerfield on our Player of the Week. You know, I spell his name wrong every time.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be with an O, and I spelled it I. And I had a kid back in the day who ran track for me at Flat Rock, Devin Crane. I spelled his name wrong every time, and it was the same thing. And he was third in the state that year, and he's got a little certificate, and it's spelled wrong as well. So it goes way back. So anyways, that is our Player of the Week. We are going to touch on some scores from last week, if I can get over to them and take a look at those scores. Friday night scores. Of course,
Thank you to RKD, by the way, in this brief pause. RKD Lawn Service, one of our sponsors. We appreciate RKD. Go check them out. Winterization.
Does he have a couple kids who play for Ida, Frank?
Kyle, his middle son, does.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Drew, his youngest, doesn't because of a heart condition, is what I've been told.
Okay.
Well, but if he didn't have that, he would be playing.
Okay, and I believe his son actually got named All League LCAA, either first or second team. I think it was first team. I saw that today. So pretty cool. Yeah. Thank you for being a sponsor. All right, let's throw out these scores. Dearborn beats Monroe 20-15. Gary, any thoughts on this? This didn't surprise you.
Not really. I thought Monroe was the better team, but marginally. I think I told you, Chris, you may not remember, but I told you week one that I thought Dearborn was a pretty good team. And here they are advancing into week two on the road against a pretty good Trojans team. I didn't get a chance to see the Monroe game, just the very end, and so I'm not exactly sure how it all went down, but these games usually come down to teams that capitalize, and in these tight affairs, and maybe the Trojans didn't capitalize enough on some of the mistakes that the Pioneers made.
Frank, you have any thoughts on this game?
Well, I think it was kind of polar opposite of what we saw in the beginning of the season from Monroe, a team that was gonna make you pay for mistakes, and they just didn't seem to do that against Dearborn, and as a result, they're at home, and now they're gonna have to look at what's gonna happen next year for them. They lose some good seniors, but they also have plenty of talent coming back too. So,
okay, Let's see another score. Dundee 14, Father Gabriel Richard 3. I watched this entire game on Facebook Live because it was a 4:00 game, and I think we all picked Dundee. Did you pick Dundee, Frank?
I didn't.
Oh, that's right. It was
I
Gary
didn't, and I
did.
got my phone blown up for it by several players. I won't name them, but they said, "Hey, we won. Thanks for giving us the motivation." And I just told them, "Oh, hey, I'll tip my hat to you guys. You went out and got the job done."
Well, yeah, and you're in
in all seriousness, their defense forced 5 turnovers. So, and they were able to turn a couple of those into points and kept Gabriel Richard out of the end zone. So, I mean, you got to give a tip of the cap to Ross Crow and the guys for not giving up when they were at 1-5 and getting away on the road. And now they got to go face Grosse Seal on the island, which is going to be a different animal.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. Boy, you're in the playoffs. You shouldn't need any more motivation. But they had some and they won. I have to tell you, watching that game, I wanted to strangle someone in the crowd from Ann Arbor Gabriel Richard because all she did was yell the entire game. People were commenting on it on Facebook Live, and it was.
Was she saying stuff that was not G-rated?
It wasn't bad, but tone it down, right? I mean, it was obviously apparent. So I just thought it was a bit much, and people were chuckling. So, all right, let's look at some of these other scores. Erie Mason 56, E-Course 0. I watched some of that game because I was sitting at home all by myself. I had all sorts of games up on the screen, and that was just a butt whooping. Gary, you got thoughts on that? It sounds like you think they could have scored 100 if they wanted to.
I do believe that. Hey, folks, Erie Mason's good people. I think a lot of people realize that, and sometimes on the blog we just get some an individual or two who just wants to stir the pot. And look, Mason's a good football team. They may lose in the playoffs, and it's not a bad thing to lose in the playoffs, but I'm going to tell you, they're going to go out swinging. And no one's going to beat Mason 35-0 or any of these scores that they've suffered over the last few years. They're going to be competitive in every single game, and I do believe they will have a chance to win every game they play. It's just, when you get into the playoffs, every state champion has a break, has a ball go their way, has a call go their way, something to pull out a game. And, it just depends on who gets those breaks. But Mason had no trouble with E-Course.
Okay, and let's, you know what, I'm going to throw out one more here. Where are we at? River Rouge 21, Carlson 0. I was following this game. I couldn't get it because you had to pay for it on a different network. And but it was 0-0 late in the second quarter, and Carlson's about to go in for a touchdown, and they didn't score. And then Rouge makes adjustments in the second half and ended up scoring 21 points. Frank, were you surprised that the Marauders were able to keep it close? 21-point spread, but sounds like it was a really good game.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised that they hung tough against the team I picked to win it all in Division III. So, give Dan Cowflesh and the boys credit for not going down without a fight. And I think at this point in the season, you're going to see the teams going against those who are considered favorites, and I think coaches are going to say, just because they might deserve to win it doesn't mean that they're going to just come in and walk all over us. We're going to fight right to the bitter end, and that's what Carlson did. They had a chance to take a lead, and let's say they do end up taking the lead in the second quarter. Rouge might have to have a different mindset coming into that. Mm-hmm. Does Rouge still win the game? I'd say yes, but still, at the end of the day, the better team ended up winning.
Yeah, Gary, any thoughts on this? Or
no, I did. When I saw the score, I didn't see the game, but when I saw the score, I was a little surprised it was just 21-0. But Rouge, that's what they do. They're hard to score on. They're physical and athletic. We're going to talk about their next game coming up here. And
yeah, That's a good combination, physical and athletic.
And they are.
I will tell you what I read about the game is Carlson went back to the tee. And they ran the tee in the first half, and it caught Rouge a little bit by surprise. And what Carlson was able to do was control the clock and have a couple of time-consuming drives. And then, Dan Kelfa said Rouge made some nice adjustments at halftime. And Corey Parker admitted that they were really surprised, and they weren't prepared for it. They didn't even think that Carlson would come out and do that. So, hats off to Carlson for being willing to change some things and maybe change the strategy of the game to try and keep something close. So, all right, that's all the games from last week. Let's jump into the games this week. There are some really good ones, and I'm gonna start down in Division 8, and we've got 5-2 Whiteford will be playing Detroit Leadership, who is 4-3, and they will be playing at Allen Park Cabrini. Gary, thoughts and a pick on this game?
Yeah, Leadership is not a bad team. I just think Whiteford just have too much in the end, too much offensive firepower. They'll score quite a few points and they'll pull it out.
Frank?
Oh, Chris, I believe you had mentioned to me that Leadership's got some talent on the team, but I'm starting to think Whiteford's starting to get things going at the right time. I think the pilot light's turned on for Jason Mensing and company. I'm going to go with the Bobcats in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go with Whiteford. I think it'll be a good game, and we'll see what happens. But I think Whiteford wins that game as well. Also in Division 8, you had Summerfield, who we had talked about, Devin Albane earlier. They are 2-5, and they will be playing at Detroit Southeastern, who is 6-1. Gary, I'm going to let you go first because you've seen Southeastern. Thoughts on this game? Can Summerfield do anything? Can you think they'll be able to throw the ball on a pretty athletic Southeastern team? What's your thoughts here?
I do. I think they'll be able to throw the ball. I think they'll be able to score a little bit. I just think Southeastern's going to score more. They're pretty good on offense. The quarterback is nice. His name is escaping me now, but I think Southeastern's is a little too tough right now. But it wouldn't surprise me if Summerfield makes it a game. But I'm going to go with Southeastern here.
Frank?
I got to go with the team that you love the name of, Chris, and that's the Jungleers of Southeastern. I just think they're going to be too tough for Summerfield to stop. I think Summerfield will be able to score enough to stay in it, but I don't think they're going to be able to slow Southeastern down.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll probably be a high-scoring game, and the team with the better offense will win, and that will be the Jungleers of Southeastern. All right, let's go to Division 7. 3-4, Jackson Lumen Christi will be traveling to Riverview Gabriel Richard, who is 6-1. Frank, thoughts on this game?
Well, Chris, didn't you say last week that Riverview Gabriel Richard won without their starting quarterback? Is that right?
Yeah, he was sitting out that game.
And do we know if he's going to be back this week?
He is back, yes.
Okay, well, as much respect as I have for Lumen Christi and Herb Brogan, I have been driving kind of on the Riverview Gabriel Richard bus, so I'm going with the Pioneers to win a nail-biter.
How about you, Gary?
This is a really tough one, and I think either team could win this game. Does Lumen Christi get some players back that they've been missing? They're riddled with injuries right now. Do they get anybody back? I have no idea. Last week's game against Hanover Horton was close. They had to pull it out at the end. And with that, I'm going to go with the Pioneers of Gabriel Richard.
Yeah, I'm going to go with GR as well. I think Jackson Lumen Christi's down by their standards. They still could probably beat a good majority of teams in Division 7. And I thought I wrote the other day, they've been to 4 straight state championship games. They lost last year, and then they won the previous 3 years. So, I mean, what a storied program they have over there. So it would be a good win for GR if they can beat them. Lumen Christi beat GR last year in the playoffs. So All right, let's move on to 5-2. Grass Lake will be traveling to 5-2 SMCC. They'll be playing at Navarre Field. Gary, go ahead. You'll be the color guy on this.
Yeah, I think Grass Lake will have a hard time stopping SMCC. It wouldn't surprise me if SMCC scores on every drive. Give or take maybe one. I don't know, but they're going to have a hard time stopping the Falcons' T. And the other end, will SMCC be able to stop the pass? Their quarterback likes to chuck it. He threw it 41 times versus Addison in a loss. So if they get down, they will throw it around. And I know Central's going to most likely bring the pressure and try to, flush his quarterback out a little bit.
Frank, thoughts?
Well, I'm not so sure Grass Lake can stop the T because they've gone against one team that runs the T in Addison, and that result didn't turn out so well. So,
I think Hanover Horton does too, Frank. Hanover Horton, they blanked Hanover Horton. They shut them out. So that's a good win.
Addison's a different animal.
Sure.
Yeah, Addison's a little bit closer to the same level as SMCC than Hanover Horton is. So I am going to go with my adopted, gutty, gritty, resilient Falcons.
Okay, I'm going to go with SMCC as well. I just think that's I think they win. All right, next, let's go over to a couple of great games in Division 6. 7-0, the Eagles of Erie Mason are traveling to 6-1 Clinton. Frank, your pick, thoughts?
This is easily the biggest hurdle for Erie Mason to overcome. I know they beat Sand Creek, who was the top-ranked team in Division 8, but Clinton's got a little bit stronger of a program. However, they are going to be without two of their players. So for that reason, I am going with Eagle Nation.
Who are they?
To win a close one.
Who are they without, Frank? I want to hear the names.
I had someone tell me it was number 44 and number 5. I didn't have to look at names because I've been real busy with work.
Foal and Lehman, yeah, I believe they are out, and that's a big loss. Foal's he's a beast, and but those Full House T teams, they got a lot of running backs. So I look at their stats; they have 4 or 5 guys with decent amount of yardage. So they'll plug in some players and they'll be just fine. But at the same time, I do think Mason wins. I just think, it could be a tight game. You got 3 minutes left in the game. Who are you going to go with? Noah Boudry to lead the team down, or are you going to go with the Full House T team? I just think Mason and that spread offense and Noah Boudry at quarterback, just too hard to stop. And I think they get by this first major hurdle in the playoffs. Eagles win.
And one more thing I would like to mention, I think Erie Mason has the offensive line to control the line of scrimmage. I mentioned last week Cam Michaud, their center, Grant Hincher, one of their tackles. Also, how about Tyler Bates as well? Those guys are maulers.
Okay, I'm going to go with Erie Mason as well. I'm even going to go as far to say that it's going to be 48-44. Erie Mason wins a high-scoring affair.
Wow.
And I'll even double down and say Clinton runs 3 times as many plays as Erie Mason, and Mason still wins 48-44. All right, we got to keep cruising along here. We got about 14 minutes to go. Let's see, 4-3 Ida, fresh off their victory over Advanced Technology Academy, will be traveling to Blissfield. Blissfield undefeated, 7-0.
Yes,
right down their record. So 7-0. Okay, Frank, thoughts on this? They played earlier in the year. It was a close game. Blissfield scored late in the game to win, I believe.
Yeah, and Idell scored with 15 seconds left, but got stopped in a 2-point conversion. I'm actually gonna probably be part of the streaming of this game, so I'm just gonna give my thoughts. I do think Ida is a live underdog in this one. But I looked at the stats from last game. I thought Nate Miller really had a nice game throwing the ball. That was his season high against Blissfield. And also running backs Luke Levicki, who had a nice game receiving. He had 100 yards receiving in this game as well. And even Kirby Carson, a tight end, who is a big target as well. But what's really going to come down to is Ken Ida's defensive line. And I'm going to throw a couple names out there. Tyler Satkowski and Ty Hathaway. Those are guys who have to get after Gavin Gannon. If you give Gannon any time to throw, you are cooked because he's got a ton of receivers. Zach Horkey, Ty Wyman, Owen Smith, Nick Ostis, and also his running backs can catch out of the backfield too.
Gary, you got a pick on this game?
I've been saying the Blue Streaks are sneaky good all year. I'm not changing my tune. It's hard to beat a team once. Frank, what's even harder?
Beating them twice.
I'm taking the Blue Streaks.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Blue Streaks as well. I was very impressed. I watched the entire game on live stream the other day, and they looked very, very good. All facets of the game, special teams, offense, defense. All right, let's go Division 5. We got to keep moving along. Dundee, 2-5, is traveling to 4-3 Grosseal. Gary, thoughts on this game?
Really interesting game, isn't it? I mean, Dundee's a team that, Chris and I think we were on the same page. I picked them last week. I just think they have something kind of going for them where I didn't believe Richard really did. And, do they bring that momentum with them? I think they're good enough to beat Grosseal. I just think Grosseal has too much firepower. They score too often. And they'll score, they'll score enough to beat Dundee. But I think it will be a pretty good game.
Frank?
I mean, Dundee did play well last week. I think Ty Schroeder, linebacker, is going to have a big game, also at running back as well. He's going to have to be the counterpunch to Joe Pizzo. But I'm not sure Dundee has an answer for Tyler Swick, who is a name I have kind of followed throughout the season. And plus, it's on the island, so I'm going to go with the Red Devils.
Yeah, crazy things happen on the island for whatever reason. I tell you, that game the other day watching Dundee play, Ty Schroeder's a good running back. He's a bruiser. He runs the ball hard, but I don't think Dundee can score with the Red Devils. So I'm going to go with Grosseal as well. All right, let's jump to Division 4. 4-3 Airport playing at 6-1 Milan. These teams played a few weeks ago. Milan won that game. Frank, thoughts on this?
Another rematch, and it was the Big Reds who prevailed in a close one when they met a couple weeks ago. And I know we've said the only thing harder than beating a team once is beating them twice. I know Jacob Pack is coming off of a monster game. Nick Hammond is really starting to come into his own. Cooper Nye, freshman quarterback. I'm actually going to call the upset here. I think Airport has been in so many close games against Milan coming short. They know what they need to do. Guys are starting to come around. I'll take Airport to win when they score late to be an extra point away from tying, but they go for 2 and get it done. I'll say 36-35.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm going with the Jets as well. They played twice last year. Now, again, twice this year. Most of these games are pretty darn close, and some of them have come down to the wire. And I don't think this game's any different. However, I think the big difference is Airport wins in the end.
Okay, I'm going to go with Milan. Just they beat them once, they're going to beat them again. And I think Airport has a nice team, but they're youthful. They have a lot of young kids who play in very important positions for them. And I'll take Jesse Hoskins. How about that? So, all right, let's go Division 3. I want to do this game real quick. Just give me your pick. 4-3 Fowlerville at 7-0 Mason. I think Mason's got a chance to win the whole doggone thing in 3. Gary, what do you think here?
That's a big statement there, and you might be right. You might be right. They're really good, Mason.
Frank?
I'll take the Bulldogs of Mason in this one, but I'm not so sure they win it all in Division 3 because I picked River Rouge, and I'm going to stand by that pick.
All right. I'm going to go with Mason as well. All right. So let's go to 5-2 Allen Park traveling to 6-1 New Boston Huron. This is I like this matchup. This is kind of I was thinking of going to that game, but I think there might be a better one to go to. But Frank, what's your thoughts on this game? The Jags or the Chiefs?
Ooh, this is definitely a tough one. I mean, New Boston Huron, they just keep on keeping on without Austin Myers. I mean, Chase Molnar, or they'll throw Isaac Smith back there. And I've even heard Isaac Smith's little brother, Micah, might even see a little bit of action too. I'm not saying that I heard his gospel, but I just heard some good stuff about him. I think the Chiefs are going to find a way to get this done, but it's going to be a tight one because Allen Park is no pushover.
Gary?
In the case of Allen Park, when they've matched up with Huron League teams and they've played Jefferson over the years, they've played Airport and now Huron. The case has usually been Allen Park's been a little tougher and maybe a little bit more athletic. I don't think that's the case this year. I think Huron matches them just fine, and I think Huron pulls this one out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you, Gary. I think Allen Park has a nice team. They're always good. I don't think this is vintage Allen Park, but they're solid.
Yeah.
And but I think Huron's a very good team, and I think they're even better when Austin Meyer plays. And I would look for him to suit up this Friday.
Did you check with Bill? Did you check with Billy Baugh before you made
Well,
that?
you know what? I was going to give it. That was going to be my next statement. I'm going to give a big shout out to my buddy Billy Baugh from Flat Rock. He is a Rockwood police officer, and his son Max plays football for the Allen Park Jags, and he is also a basketball player over there. A very, very good athlete. But yeah, I'm going with the Chiefs, and I'm looking for Austin Myers to be back.
It'll be a great game.
Yeah, I think so. All right, and then our game of the week, and I'll call it the Cakes by Stephanie. Game of the week is the 5-1 River Rouge Panthers traveling to the undefeated 7-0 Pirates of Riverview. Frank, we're going to let you go first on this one. I am going to be at that game. I've already talked to the people over there. I will be in the door, down on the field, popping some pictures and trying to tweet from down on the field. Frank, thoughts?
Oh, I mean, I've been saying Riverview was my dark horse in Division III. They run the T. They're tough. They're physical, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But like I said, I've picked River Rouge to win Division III. And I know full house T teams give Rouge trouble, as evidenced 5 years ago when they squeaked out a win in the Division V semifinal over my Blue Streaks. But this Rouge team, I think they just have too much talent. They're not afraid of teams that are going to line up and play man ball. And with that said, I will take the Panthers to win a very close game. I think they get a stop late. Probably on the goal line. It's probably going to be a goal line stand, but I'm going River Rouge in this one.
Gary?
I've seen the T ran probably more than anybody that's listening to our voices right now.
Thank God, more than me.
Yeah.
I've seen it ran plenty of times too, but I know you've seen it probably more.
And I've seen it up against all kinds of teams. The teams that it struggles against are the teams that it's just outmanned against. Okay. And I think in the case of the Pirates versus the Panthers, River Rouge is going to have some big boys up front, and there's some angry big boys up front. And if Riverview is going to win this game, they're going to have to make some plays that maybe they haven't made all year or had to have made all year, quite frankly. They're going to have to come out of that T. The power plays, trap, that's not going to work. It's not going to work a lot. If it does, I would be very surprised. They're not going to get that 4 yards on the power play quite often. And the trap play is going to get stuffed right where it started quite a bit. They're going to have to come out of that. They're going to have to hit those wide receivers. Now, they have the players to do it. And So that, they're just going to have to break away from their norm and make some big plays. And those can be done on special teams, turnovers, what have you. But they're going to have to they're going to have to do some things that they haven't had to do all year. With that, I'm going to go with River Rouge to win this game. I just think they're too stout up front. They'll figure out that T eventually, and by the second half rolls around, they'll have the answers.
Okay, and I think that's about the time that Riverview starts throwing the ball around with quarterback Preston Thompson. I think
they'll have to do that.
I think this game is going to be much like when Riverview played at Divine Child a few years ago in the playoffs when, the Falcons had Theo Day, Division I, right, going to Michigan State. They had Aiden Hutchinson, and if you listen to anybody, he's the greatest defensive end of all time at the University of Michigan. And I thought Riverview's team made him look ordinary that night. I think Riverview's going to surprise them. I think it's going to be a close game. It'll probably come down to Riverview getting a 2-point conversion here or there. I think I'm looking at like a 22-21 game where the Bucks pull off the upset. Maybe they turn the sprinklers on Thursday night on the grass field over there at Don Lesnar and, make it a little sloppy. But I think the Bucks are going to pull off the win here and knock Frank's Division III pick out of the picture, opening the door for possibly the Mason Bulldogs.
I'm pulling for the Pirates. I'm pretty sure we all are. Maybe not Frank, but I
would love to see. I'd love to see Riverview win.
I bet you got Rouge gear.
No, I don't. And as much respect I have for Corey Parker as a coach and players on that team, I do not root for them. I just picked them to win Division III because they have the most talent coming back.
Chris, I wanted to add that you said it would be like the Dearborn Divine Child game. I see it going more like the Farmington Harrison game, the very next game. I see it going more like that, where Riverview had opportunities. They have to capitalize. You must capitalize on every opportunity to beat a team such as River Rouge. They didn't do it against Farmington Hills Harrison. Can they do it? Is the game Friday night?
It's Friday night at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, can they do it Friday night? We'll find out.
Yeah, and I think that's a good example because Riverview, I think, was inside the 10 3 times that game and did not score.
That's right.
So, well, all right, guys, that wraps it up. We did things pretty quickly today. I know last week it kind of ended abruptly because we ran out of time because we used the free version of Zoom. But anyways, guys, good to see you. And I basically get out of jail here on Thursday. I'll just leave it at that, and we'll go from there.
Who's the president? Do we know?
Who's the what?
Who's the president?
Oh, that's right. It's election night, isn't it? I don't know. Who knows? Who cares?
Okay.
All right. We'll just leave it at that.
All right.
FridayNightVictors.com.
You good? We're still recording.
Still recording.
Oh, yeah. FridayNightVictors.com.